So today we're going to talk about solving by factoring. And we all know that things in factored form are something times itself, or something times something else is the outermost function. What the zero product property says, or the ZPP, is that if something times something else equals 0, either A equals 0 or B equals 0. And it doesn't really matter what the other one, because if A equals 0, B could be 1,000,000, and this equation would be true. Or if B equals 0, it doesn't matter what A is, it would also be true. So if we have something like this, and these things equal 0, and the outermost function is multiplication, then if this piece here, if this factor is equal to 0, then that will satisfy this equation. Or if this factor is equal to 0, it will satisfy this equation. Now, so let's see what's going to make these equal 0. So I set them equal to 0. And I set this one equal to 0. And I solve. And here are my two solutions for this equation that make it true. And I can prove it, right? Because I can plug in -3, and I can say -3 plus 3 times 2 times -3, because x has to be the same thing in all places. Then this equals 0, and this equals, let's see, -6 minus 3, that equals -9, and that does in fact equal 0. Check. And 2/3 would work as well, because I could say 2/3 plus 3 and 2 times 3/2 minus 3, and then that equals 3/2, so that equals 4.5. And this is those multiply together, and then 3 minus 3 is 0, and so that also equals 0. Check. So when things are in factored form, it's really easy to solve for 0. Let's do another one real quick. Let's say we had x minus 5 and 4x plus 2. Yeah, we'll go 2x plus 4, just for fun. And they equal 0, then I can say, oh, well, what's going to make this piece equal 0? That would be 5, which is pretty easy to see when I look at this. If I plug in +5, that's going to be 0. And then this one, I just set it equal to 0 and solve again. So my two solutions that make this equation true are 5 and -2. So this is one of the things that we've been working up to with all of this factoring, okay, is solving equations. So let's say we had this equation here. As long as it equals 0, if this side is factorable, then I can solve this equation really quickly. Now, as I look at this, I'm looking for factors of 6 that add to 5, and everything's positive, so it's going to be x plus 2 and x plus 3. And then what's going to make this piece equal 0 is going to be -2, and what's going to make this piece equal 0 is -3. So those are pretty straightforward, especially when x equals 1. Let's do another one real quick. So I've got x squared plus x equals 12. Now, this one doesn't equal 0 yet. So my first step is to set it equal to 0. And now I'm going to find factors of -12 that add to +1, which would be x plus 4 and x plus 3. Forgot to box my answers. And then I can go, or x minus 3, right? Because factors of -12 would be 4 and -3. that add to positive 1 are 4 and negative 3. Okay. And so then I can see that x equals, I'm going to set this equal to 0, and I'm going to get x equals negative 4. And I'm going to set this equal to 0, and I'm going to get x equals 3. So here are my two solutions for that one. So it's just a small step on top of what we've been doing. Let's do one where a, and when a is 1, like in all of these examples, you can almost look at these and know, oh, well, my solutions are just the opposite of whatever my factors are. Let's do one more where a is 1. X squared plus 8x plus 15 equals 0. Now, factors of 15 that add to 8 are x plus 3 and x plus 5. And so my solutions are x equals negative 3 and x equals negative 5. And if you want to check, you can plug those back in. So I could say negative 3 squared minus 8 times, or plus 8 times negative 3 plus 15 equals 0. Negative 3 squared is positive 9. Negative 3 times 8 is negative 24 plus 15 equals 0. 9 and 15 is positive 24 minus 24 equals 0. 0 equals 0. Check. And similarly, if I plugged in 5, I would get the same thing. Negative 5 squared plus 8 times negative 5 plus 15 equals 0. 25 minus 40 plus 15 equals 0. 25 and 15 add to 40 minus 40. 0 equals 0. So you can see both of these solutions work, and I just proved it by checking them. Okay. Let's do another one where a is not 1, and it's a little bit harder. Let's do 6x squared and 7, and then we'll do negative 20x and negative 7. 19x. That'll work. Now it equals 0. That's all it has to equal 0 for it to work, to make it use the zero product property. So first I'm going to multiply 6 times 7, and I'm going to get negative 42 that adds to negative 19. And I'm going to say, so I know my factors are different signs. My bigger one's negative, so I'm going to go negative, let's see, 1 and negative 42, 2 and negative 21, 3 and negative 14, 4, no, 5, no, 6 and negative 7. This is negative 41, this is negative 19, this is negative 11, and this is negative 1. So here's my factor pairs. So now I'm going to say 6x squared plus 2x minus 21x minus 7 equals 0. Then I can group and factor. Negative 7 comes out of both of those. And then these ones aren't quite as easy to just look at and see the answer, but if you set them equal to 0 and solve algebra 1 style, we get x equals 7 halves and x equals negative 1/3. Cool. I'm going to do one more quick one, and then, but pretty much this is it. We're just going to be using the steps of factoring we did to get our two factors, and we're doing that so that then we can solve these equations when they're set equal to 0. Let's kind of have some stuff all over the place. Let's see. let's see, let's do 8 and negative and all right. So now this one's not set equal to 0. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to collect everything on one side, and in general I'm always going to keep A positive. So I'm going to add 8, subtract 8, and then I'm going to subtract 2x. So now I'm set equal to 0, and I can keep going from there. Okay, so I've got factors of negative 24 that add to negative 2, which are 4 and negative 6. I can box it up. 3x squared plus 4x minus 6x minus 8. I got a negative 2, a 4, an x, and a 3x. So my factors are 3x plus 4 and x minus 2 equals 0. So then 3x plus 4 equals 0. 3x equals negative 4. X equals negative 4/3. So your two solutions are negative 4/3 and x equals 2. So that's about all I got for today. We're just adding one little step, and that is using the zero product property to solve equations. So your steps are to get the equation set equal to 0, okay, then factor, and then set each of the factors equal to 0, and your two solutions are right there.